When we think about training events, now we're backing away a bit and not looking at just the techniques, which is the human contact that we have as trainers with our trainees, but we're now beginning to think about the bigger issues, about how the setting, how the event is going to take place. We sometimes call these events seminars, we sometimes call them workshops. Perhaps they're much the same. My guess is that a workshop may be a bit shorter and a bit less formal than a seminar. But a very common way of training people today is in this type of setting, and the reason for that perhaps may have to do with the increase in population and the need to train many people at a time. When population was lower and not growing as fast, one perhaps had the luxury of just teaching people one at a time who would acquire your skills and be able to continue on what you did in the workplace. But these days it seems that we're involved in many workshops, and this has another side to it, and that is that the world we live in today is a world full of knowledge workers. And knowledge workers really are people who don't just have one particular skill that is always made available to the workplace throughout their career, and that would have been the case, for example, in other eras where we had either industrial workers without many skills or skilled workers in the era previous to that. The point is that in both of those settings, one person essentially contributed one service to the workplace for most of their career. Whereas in the world we live in today, people are multi-skilled. They need to know to run different machines and different types of sectors, and so it is that we're constantly being part of training, being part of workshops and so on. And so we have to look at how do we organize such events, and there are many skills involved in that. Again, one follows the experiential learning cycle, remembering that in a workshop, after you've gotten started and gotten people to know one another with introductions and so forth, that it's very important to unpack the experience that the different people attending have. Even before you as a trainer start telling them how things are done or what to do, it's more important to listen than to explain. As a facilitator in a workshop, you then begin to look and see the same patterns that emerge that will become apparent to the participants as well as they listen to their various experiences. And so, to some extent, a facilitator is an organizer of the different experiences and is able to show them patterns and to read, what we can learn from these various different real experiences in adult learning. We may see opportunities as trainers, and then if we know our stuff and have done our preparation and are really well prepared, to maybe just contribute a little bit after the experiences of our participants have been unpacked, and give that to them as something from us that hasn't come out in that exchange of. And it's very important in the workshop in particular to bring this to a practical application before closing up, and perhaps even develop some action plans so that people can say, what have I learned here today that I will take home and do differently because of this event. Seminars are like a large form of workshops that take a lot longer, they're more complex, they may have different tracks, different groups, different themes operating concurrently, intertwining, and they're almost approaching a conference, which a conference would be a very large seminar that has different themes and places and settings and venues where you can go to with demos going on, with videos running, with all kinds of different things happening in a conference. But a seminar, again, one needs to decide whether it's going to be more like a workshop on the informal side or whether it's going to be more like a conference on the very formal side. And so we have to acquire skills, and this topic is about getting down to what does it take to prepare, to run, and then to bring to closure and the reporting on all the events like workshops, seminars, and conferences.